Prabhanityananda Dada Srivasadi Gaurabhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we continue reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2. Today we are going to read text 22. Would anyone like to say something we read from yesterday?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, we read that Hiraṇyakaśipu, right? He instructed the demons to go down to planet Earth and cause destruction, disturbance disturbance everywhere. And he mainly told them that you should go to places where cow protection is there, and also where the Brahmanas are giving Brahminical, talking about the Vedas, teaching the people and bringing the Brahminical culture back. Brahminic culture. So he wanted to destroy the cow protection and also the Brahminical culture. So that way, like, he felt that the demigods will be killed also that way when he kills Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So that way they will also, because the demigods depend totally on Lord Vishnu. So the demons crippled the whole system and destruction. And also the emphasis was also given to trees, that the trees should not be cut. The trees, especially the trees that give fruit, then that should not be cut off. And also, like we spoke about, that Lord Vishnu is the central point of everything, of the Brahmanical culture. So Krishna is the cause of everything. Our main purpose, the highest goal of human life, is to please the Supreme Lord. On the contrary, that like demons, they simply plan to cause disturbance and want to kill Lord Vishnu. I think, yeah, that's what I could remember.
Okay, thank you. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. And then he's giving knowledge now to his nephews. He's trying to pacify his nephews and his sister-in-law and mother. So we can see that demons also have a lot of knowledge, but because they don't follow the rules of the scriptures, so then that's why they're called demons. They do activities which are harmful, like how Hiraṇyakaśipu is harming the entire system now, basically. So you're going to continue reading. Nitya Atma Vyaya Shuddha.
Nitya Atma Vyaya Shuddha.
Sarvaga Sarvavit Paraha.
Sarvaga Sarvavit Paraha.
Date Sav Atmano Lingam.
Date Sav Atmano Lingam.
Mayaya Visrajan Gunan.
Mayaya Visrajan Gunan.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The spirit soul, the living entity, has no death, for he is eternal and inexhaustible. Being free from material contamination, he can go anywhere in the material or spiritual worlds. He is fully aware and completely different from the material body. But because of being misled by misuse of his slight independence, he is obliged to accept subtle and gross bodies created by the material energy, and thus be subjected to so-called material happiness and distress. Therefore, No one should lament for the passing of the spirit soul from the body. So who's giving this knowledge?
Is it Hiraṇyakaśipu to his
Yeah,
nephews?
yeah. Hiraṇyakaśipu. So we can see that he understands the soul. The soul is different from the body. He has knowledge of the Bhagavad Gita, right? That the soul is different from the body. The soul is eternal, no death, inexhaustible. It's not that it's going to be dying anytime, anywhere. So he has the knowledge. Hiraṇyakashipu very intelligently described the position of the soul. The soul is never the body, but is always completely different from the body. Being eternal and inexhaustible, the soul has no death. But when the same pure soul desires to enjoy the material world independently, is placed under the conditions of material nature and must therefore accept a certain type of body and suffer the pains and pleasures thereof. So we are the soul, then why we are put here in the material world?
Because we wanted to be equal to Krishna, who is the Supreme Lord. We want to enjoy the way Lord Krishna enjoys. But
Yeah,
our constitutional position is to be a servitor.
yeah. So does it mean that we shouldn't enjoy? How
Yeah.
can we get our enjoyment then?
We
How
should
will we get our enjoyment?
by pleasing Krishna, by
Yes,
being with
that's right.
Krishna.
That's right. Yes. What we desire to enjoy independent of Krishna. That's why we are put here. But our real enjoyment is actually when we are enjoying together with Krishna. That is our real enjoyment because we have the desire to enjoy. But now we said at one point, oh, I don't want to enjoy with Krishna. I'm going to, try to imitate Krishna myself. I'm going to do it. I want to imitate him. I want to enjoy as he is enjoyed, but separate from him. So then we are placed here. And then we get different types of bodies. And then every body, we have different types of suffering, different type of pleasure. But our real enjoyment is when we can enjoy together with Krishna, as you rightly said, being a servitor of Krishna. This is also like, when we love someone, then we serve them, we do something for them, and we feel that great happiness. You know, we do something for another, and we feel so blissful. So that is our relationship with Krishna. And Krishna feels happy to serve his devotee. So it's reciprocal, both ways. So this is also described by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 13:22. Karanam guna sangosya sadasad yoni janmasu. The living entity is born in different families or species of life because of being infected by the modes of material nature. When conditioned by material nature, the living entity must accept a certain type of body, which is offered by nature under the direction of the Supreme Lord. So we are the soul, we are not the body. But we keep getting one body after another, one body after another. That's the arrangement. That's the arrangement of the Supreme Lord by the agency of Maya. We have no say in that. Nobody asks us, oh, which body you want, which planet, which universe, which species, which gender, which country. Nobody asks us. That we have to. We're forced, must accept. We are forced to accept the body based on our desires and based on our karma. Ishvara sarva bhutanam ritesha arjuna tishtati brahmayan sarva bhutani yantra rudhani mayaya. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart, O Arjuna, and is directing the wanderings of all living entities who are seated as on a machine made of the material energy. Bhagavad Gita 1861. The body is just like a machine, and according to the living entity's karma, is offered a particular type of machine to move here and there under the control of material nature. So just as we sit in a car to go from one place to another, to do different things, so similarly, we are the soul and we are given this body. We are sitting inside the body and then we act. We act, and this body is under the modes of material nature. And this body we are getting based on our past karma, how we have acted, and our desire. So this continues until he surrenders to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. Until he surrenders, the conditioned soul is carried from life to life by the arrangement of material nature. Krishna says, Devi yesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. That this material energy, divine energy, which is of these three modes of nature, she is very powerful. Can't overcome it. You want to overcome, you want to get free from the modes of nature. You don't want to be affected by the modes of nature. You have to surrender to me. Once you surrender to me, then there is no modes of nature. So the modes of nature are very strong. We are tightly in the grip of the modes of nature. Yatham basa prachalatam.
Yatam vasa prachalata
Taravopi chala iva.
taropi chala iva
Chakshusha Brahma yamanena.
Chakshusha
Chakshusha
Brahmya
brahmyam
Mane
manena
Drishyate chalti vabuhu.
Drishyate
drishyate
Chalati
chalati babu.
Because of the movements of the water, the trees on the bank of a river, when reflected on the water, seem to move. Similarly, when the eyes move, because of some mental derangement, the land appears to move also. Sometimes, because of mental derangement, the land appears to be moving. A drunkard, for example, or a person with heart disease sometimes feel that the land is moving. I don't know if you'll have had that experience. If you have vertigo or something, you can actually see things are moving. Actually, nothing's moving. So similarly, the reflection of trees in a flowing river also appear to move. These are the actions of Maya. Actually, the living entity does not move. Sthanu rachaloyam. The living entity does not take birth or accept death. But because of the transient, subtle and gross bodies, the living entity appears to move from one place to another or be dead and gone forever. As the great Bengali Vaishnava poet Jagadananda Pandit has said, Pishachi paile yena mati chana haya, maya grasta jivera haye se bhava udaya. According to this statement from the Prema Vivarta, when a living entity is conditioned by material nature, he is exactly like a person haunted by a ghost. So Jagdananda Pandit is a very dear associate of Lord Chaitanya. He was incarnation of Satyabhama. In Krishna Leela, Satyabhama is there, and same Satyabhama in Chaitanya Leela comes as Jagadananda Pandit. So Jagadananda Pandit wrote this very nice book called Prema Vivarta. And in that he is saying that, we condition souls, we are conditioned and we are acting as if a person is haunted by a ghost. Delirious, don't know what we are doing. Why? Why? Because actually we are the soul, but we are thinking we are the body, and then we take up all these different causes because we think we are the body. We act in such ways because we are the body. We think we are the body, but actually we have nothing to do with it. So someone who's looking from a neutral point of view will think that, this person has lost it, completely lost it. Like when we see somebody, we knew him when he was sober, and suddenly we see that he's mentally not stable at all. And so he's acting in all different ways. We say he's lost it. So this is how we are acting. One should therefore understand the fixed position of the spirit soul, and how he is carried away by the waves of material nature to different bodies and different situations under lamentation and hankering. We are lamenting and we are hankering, lamenting and hankering. This is what we are doing in this material nature. We are the soul. We have nothing to do with the body. And yet we get so excited in one situation, and we get so depressed in another, because we are thinking we are the body. One achieves the success of life when he understands the constitutional position of his self and is undisturbed by the conditions created by material nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashaha. So success of life when we can understand, I am not this body, I am the spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I have eternal relationship with Krishna. When we can actually understand this, then we won't be disturbed by what's happening around us. Till then, because we are thinking we are the body, we get continued to get involved with the material nature. In the sense, we get affected by it because we are thinking we are the body. So this is good knowledge Hiraṇyakaśipu is giving, no? Isn't it? So foundational knowledge. Evam guner brahm yamane
Evam
Evam
gune
gune
gram
brahmane
yamane
manasi avikalapaman
manashe
manasi
vikala
avikala puman
yati tat samyatam bhadre
yati
yati
tat
tatsamya
samyatam bhadre
hi alingo lingavan iva.
he
hi alingo
o
lingavan iva.
lingavaniva.
In the same way, O my gentle mother, when the mind is agitated by the movements of the modes of material nature, the living entity, although freed from all the different phases of the subtle and gross bodies, thinks that he has changed from one condition to another. So, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 84, Text 13, Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke, swadi kalatra dishu bhaum ma ichyade, yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichij, janeshu abhineshu sa eva gokharaha. A human being who identifies the body made of three elements as the self, who considers the byproducts of the body to be his kinsmen, and who considers the land of his birth worshipable, and who goes to a place of pilgrimage simply to bathe rather than to meet men of transcendental knowledge there, is to be considered like a cow or an ass. Although Hiranyakashipu was a great demon, he was not as foolish as the population of the modern world. Hiranyakashipu had clear knowledge of the spirit soul and the subtle and gross bodies. But now we are so degraded that everyone, including the exalted scientists, philosophers, and other leaders, is under the bodily conception of life, which is condemned in the Shastras. Sa eva gokara. Such persons are nothing but cows and asses. So we are not able to understand. I'm not the body, I'm the soul. But here Hiranyakashipu is giving this knowledge to his mother. And he's giving examples also that although uh, the, the soul never moves actually, but it keeps thinking, I'm taking one body and another body, giving up one body, taking another body. So what does it mean? It's because through the subtle body, the soul is going from one body to another, right? Of course, the soul is going from one body to another, but then the soul is identifying with that body. In each body, it It's identifying with its own body. Actually, the identity is not changed. Actually, we are spirit soul, but we keep thinking, oh, now I'm this and now I'm that. All that is happening under the modes of material nature. Hiraṇyakaśipu advised his family members that although the gross body of his brother Hiranyaksha was dead, and they were aggrieved because of this, they should not lament for the great soul of Hiranyaksha, who had already attained his next destination. So he's telling them that Hiranyaksha, the person, is not dead. Yeah, the body is gone. But the person, the soul, he's gone to another body now. So Atma, the spirit soul, is always unchanged. Avikala Puman. We are spirit souls, but when carried away by mental activities, manodharma, we suffer from so-called material conditions of life. So spirit soul is always unchanged, means our position can never change. We are always eternal. We are always unborn. We are always inexhaustible. Our individuality is always going to be maintained. We are spirit souls. We can never become nothing, you know? No. We are always going to be the spirit soul. So, but what happens is we take different bodies and then we think I'm this body and I'm that body. And under the arrangement, we are either suffering or enjoying. So this generally happens to non-devotees. Harav abhaktasya kuto mahadguna. Non-devotees may possess exalted material qualities, but because they are foolish, they have no good qualifications. The designations of the conditioned soul in the material world are decorations of the dead body. The conditioned soul has no information of the spirit and its exalted existence beyond the effects of the material condition. So, designation of conditioned soul in the material world are decoration of the dead body. Means this body is always dead, actually. You know, we can see that when actually the soul passes away from the body, it doesn't matter which country the body belonged to, which nationality, which community, what gender, what you know, what the person was doing. It doesn't matter. All these designations don't matter. Well, what the person was doing is going to decide where the soul will go. But basically, the designation of the body, you know, whoever's body it is, it's either going to be buried or it's going to be burnt, or it's going to be given to the animals, fed to the animals. So that's why it said the designations are decorations of the dead body. Till the time the soul is inside the inside this body, we say, I am this, I am that, I belong here, I belong there. So the conditioned soul has no information of the spirit and its exalted existence beyond the effects of the material condition. We are the spirit soul. We have nothing to do with the material body. We shouldn't be suffering. We shouldn't have to go through all this anxiety and the hankering. We are supposed to be in the spiritual world. So we have no information of the spirit soul. And then we are giving up one body, taking up another, all under this arrangement of Maya. Questions, comments?
When they're saying that it's they're decorations of the dead body, I mean that body is still not dead yet, right?
Means the
Destination.
body is always dead.
Always
The body
dead.
is
Yeah.
always
We
dead.
say, no, the body perishes.
Yeah.
So here it's not yet, right? I mean, it is considered, but like when we say the person died, the body is dead. But
Yeah,
here
so
it
the
doesn't
soul,
mean it,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So it means the soul is inside the body. And then the soul is thinking, I'm a man or a woman, and I'm this nationality, this country, this society. Maybe I am a teacher, or so all these are decorations of the dead body. It's there till the time the soul is there in the body. Once the soul leaves, there's nothing. All these designations are gone. That's why it's saying that. Decoration. And we take so much pride in all these designations, you know. Some of the designations we get so carried away by, not realizing what we are doing. Yeah, but at that time, of course, the
Think of
soul
the
is still
body.
inside the body. Yeah.
Yeah, at first we think of the body, like, skin, this thing, we must take care. It's, it's
I'm
going
sorry,
to
your
end.
voice is breaking. I'm sorry, I can't hear you well.
Yeah, like how much we think of the body, the body, like, how we want to decorate it, we want to keep it clean, very clean, like take care not to get old or whatever.
I know, right? Yeah, well,
So,
clean, yeah, we have to keep the body
yeah,
clean.
clean,
Otherwise, we'll get diseases. But yeah, we do so much. We don't want to
so
get
much.
old. We'll do this and do that, and we'll go to great extent.
We'll use
And
all
then
kinds of creams and to keep it.
yeah, and then we are
Yeah,
fighting a losing battle, no? But
yeah,
of course, we can see that people do look younger and younger
yeah.
than before. But also the
Good.
designations that we are putting for the soul,
Designations.
for the body, you know, that I am this one, I am that, you know, like as we said, I'm a teacher, for example, and we may get so carried away and get so prideful about it.
Mm.
Um, when once the soul has left the body, then so we are not able to understand these things. Here, Hiraṇyakaśipu is a demon. He's able to understand. He's explaining all this. So that is the situation in Kali Yuga now.
Mm.
Esha Atma Viparyaso.
Esha Atma
Atma viparyasho
Ya Linge Linga Bhavana.
ya linge linga bhavana
Linga Bhavana.
Esha Priya Priyer Yogo.
esha
Esha
priya
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 Priya Yogo.
Viyoga Karma Samsriti.
viyoga karma
Viyoga Karma
samskriti
Samskriti.
Sambhavascha Vinashascha.
sambhavascha
Samavascha
vinashascha
Vinashascha.
Shokascha Vividha Smrita.
Shokascha
shokascha vividha
Vividha
smrita
Smrita.
Avivekascha Chintacha.
avivekascha
Avivekascha
chintacha
Chintacha.
Viveka Smritir Evacha.
Viveka
viveka smriti
Smritir Evacha.
In his bewildered state, the living entity, accepting the body and mind to be the self, considers some people to be his kinsmen and others to be outsiders. Because of this misconception, he suffers. Indeed, the accumulation of such concocted material ideas is the cause of suffering and so called happiness in the material world. The conditioned soul, thus situated, must take birth in different species and work in various types of consciousness, thus creating new bodies. This continued material life is called samsara. Birth, death, lamentation, foolishness, and anxiety are due to such material considerations. Thus, we sometimes come to a proper understanding and sometimes fall again to a wrong conception of life. So let's see what he's saying. What are a few points he's saying here? Because we think we are thinking the body, I am the body, and sometimes someone may think, okay, I'm not the body, but someone may identify with the mind, that I am my mind. But actually, the soul is different from the body and different from the mind. The body, hmm, I'm sorry.
No, I sorry, I
Ah,
coughed.
okay. So that's all right. So the body, that's the gross body, and the mind is the subtle body, and both are different than the soul. And then because we think we are the body, then whoever is related to the body, we say, this is my friends. And whoever is not related to the body, we say, oh, they are outsiders, not related to me. So because all this is because we are thinking we are the body. Actually, we are the soul. That's why he said we are behaving like a mad person, you know. We are doing so many different things which don't make sense. So someone who is in knowledge can understand. But because we don't have the knowledge, we think it's normal. And that's how we go on acting. And then because of this, we are suffering. Then we are fearful. I have to protect from this one, I have to do this. And then all the suffering is there, all this fear is there, and then we are acting in a certain way. Then we are creating new bodies for ourselves, and that's samsara. We continue living in this cycle of birth and death. This cycle, birth and death, and lamentation, foolishness, and anxiety are due to such material considerations. All this because we don't understand that we are the soul. We are thinking we are the body. And then sometimes we may understand we are the soul. Sometimes we may have a glimpse of that. But again, after some time, it just goes away. So atrapi udaharantimam
Atra
Atrapi
udaharantimam
udaharantimam
itihasam puratanam
itihasam
asam
puratanam
puratamantanam
yam yasya preta bandhunam
yamasya
yamasya
preta bandhunam
samvadam tam nibodhata.
samvadam tam
samvadam
nibodhata.
nibodhata.
In this regard, an example is given from an old history. This involves a discourse between Yamraj and the friends of a dead person. Please hear it attentively. So now he's telling them a story, from a Puranic story, very old, itihas, history. So conversation between Yamraj and friends of a dead person. The words itihasam puratanam mean an old history. The Puranas are not chronologically recorded, but the incidents mentioned in the Puranas are actual histories of bygone ages. So the Puranas are not recorded according to what happened when, but they're all true. All this history actually happened. Whatever is mentioned in the Purana. Srimad Bhagavatam is the Mahapuran, the essence of all the Puranas. The Mayavadi scholars do not accept the Puranas, but Srila Madhvacharya and all other authorities accept them as the authoritative histories of the world. So the devotees, they accept the Puranas, that this is the history. Just like, after 10,000 years, our history books, what has happened now, somebody may say, oh, it never happened, or it's just a myth. But somebody who is really in knowledge will understand, yes, it did happen, although it was a long time ago. It's not that it didn't happen, just because it was a long time ago. So the Puranic stories, they happen a long time ago. Doesn't make them unreal. They're still real. Oshinaresha Abhudraja
Ushinareshwa
Ushinashi
Udraja
abhudraja
Suyagya iti Vishruta
Suyagya
suyagna
iti
iti
Vishruta
vishruta
Sapatner Nihato Yudhe
sapat
Sapatne Nirhato Yudhe
Gyatayastam Upasata.
Gyatayam
Yastam upasat
Upasata.
In the state known as Ushinar, there was a celebrated king named Suyagya. When the king was killed in battle by his enemies, his kinsmen sat down around the dead body and began to lament the death of their dear friend. So there was a king called Suyagya in his place called Ushinar, and he's killed in battle. Now he's killed, his dead body is there, and all his people are all, sir, they are all around his body now, and they're all lamenting. Vishirna Ratna Kavacham
Vishirna Ratna Kavacham
Vibrashta Bharanasrajam
Vibrashtavarana Srajam
Shar Nirbhinna Hridayam
Sara Nirbina Hridayam
Shayanam Asraga Avilam
Shayanam
Arshra
Asrilam
Prakirna Kesham Dvastaksham
Prakirnam Kesham Dvakshaktam
Rabhasa Dashta Dachadam
Rabsha Dakshata Dakshadam
Rajakuntha Mukhambojam
Raja Kunta Mukham Bhojam
Chinnayuda Bhujam Ride
Hinayudha Bhujam Ride
Ushi Narendram Vidina Tatha Kritam
Ushi Narendra
Ushirindram
Dina Tatha Kritam
Patim Mahishya Pasamekshya Dukhitaha
Patim
Patim Mahishya
Mahishya Prasameksha
Prashya
Dukkitaha
Hatasmanate Tikarer Uro Brisham
Hatasman
Hatasmanate Ikare Uro Brisham
Bhrisham
Kanantyamuhustatpadayorupapatan
Ginantyomuhustatpadayor upapatam
Upapatam
His golden bejeweled armor smashed, his ornaments and garlands fallen from their places, his hair scattered, and his eyes lusterless. The slain king lay on the battlefield, his entire body smeared with blood, his heart pierced by the arrows of the enemy. When he died, he had wanted to show his prowess, and thus he had bitten his lips, and his teeth remained in that position. His beautiful lotus-like face was now black and covered with dust from the battlefield. His arms, with his sword and other weapons, were cut and broken. When the queens of the king of Ushinar saw their husband lying in that position, they began crying, "O Lord, now that you have been killed, we also have been killed." Repeating these words again and again, they fell down, pounding their breasts at the feet of the dead king. As stated here, Rabhasadashta Dachadam, the dead king, while fighting in anger, bit his lips to show his prowess, but nonetheless he was killed by providence, Vidhina. This proves that we are controlled by higher authorities. Our personal power or endeavor is not always supreme. We must therefore accept the position offered to us by the order of the Supreme. So no matter how powerful we are, this king was very powerful. He wanted to fight, but it was in his, it was time for him to die now. It was time for him to leave the body. So he's lying dead on the battlefield. All the queens are lamenting, and we are going to hear that how Yamraj is going to come and give them the knowledge. So we'll stop here for today. Is that okay?
Yes.
Srimad
Yeah.
Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai.